Taoiseach, people before profit is one of a minority of political parties in this Dáil that have elected representatives in the north and the south. We have representatives in the Stormont Assembly and in councils in the north, and that is because we believe in ending partition. We believe in uniting this island, not because we're bleary-eyed nationalists, but because we're internationalists and we oppose partition in the tradition of James Connolly. And I say that because Connolly understood how you developed a tradition of a shared island, and understood why partition was precisely about dividing people and setting people against one another, and would lead, as he predicted correctly, to a carnival of reaction, green and orange at each other's throats. And he argued, and this remains as relevant today as it was when he argued it, that you need to unite working people on the things they had in common to break the shackles of partition and of empire. What does that mean today? I'll give you two concrete examples. We will never convince people in the north to be part of a united Ireland unless we have a national health service. Never. And move immediately to a national health service. Not back to the two-tier system as the government is currently doing, but immediately. Why on earth would people in the north join a dysfunctional two-tier health system? They won't do it. They won't do it. So we have to move immediately to a national health service. And the second thing we have to do is immediately separate church and state. Why on earth would people in the north join a state where 90% of the schools are controlled by the Catholic Church? They won't do it. There's no chance they'll do it. And yet we still tolerate a situation where even now the Sisters of Charity are closing down nursing homes, as I pointed to you, on the Merrion Road, because a religious organisation, for some reason, controls nursing homes and can close them down, even though they're funded by the state. Why on earth would people join a state that allows that to happen? So these are the things we need to do if we want to share the island and convince people that overcoming these historic divisions is actually in their interest. That's how we will do it. Because I tell you, people are angry in the north about the state of their health service. They'd like to fight for a new and better national health service where people get access to health on the basis of need, not on the size of their wallet or the austerity that has been imposed on their health service. And they would like to be in an education system where everybody is treated equally, genuinely equally, and we could share that education system and have the integration of our children. If we lead the way in progressive, radical change like that, in the tradition of James Connolly, we will become an attractive option for the idea of ending partition and uniting this island.
Thank you, Deputy. So, in terms of a common standard of checks and balances, what has transpired really here, for honest about the evolution of this, and I don't want to be, but I have to make the point because we've had a much stricter travel guidance in the Republic than anywhere else. Certainly stricter in terms of what's in the north at the moment, stricter in terms of the UK, in terms of, they're now beginning to change in relation to Spain because of the spike in numbers in Spain. So I think what's important is that we collectively recognise the dangers that travel can present in terms of creating spikes in the number of cases on the island. And I think we have to try and work towards a joint approach in relation to that. Now, there has been, I've received a letter from the First Minister and Deputy First Minister in respect to the British-Irish Council meeting. We have no difficulty or objection to that, but again, that may not resolve all of the issues in respect of the common travel area or in respect of different travel guidance issuing from different de facto jurisdictions. That's the position we're in. We do share common advice with Northern Ireland in that we're saying to people, do not travel. The safest thing is not to travel during COVID-19, and that will remain the case. So I think the operational issues then between, for example, people using Dublin Airport and so on, we have to build up a stronger presence there, which is work on the way in terms of electronic passenger locator mechanism that's being worked on at the moment, in terms of the Department of Health working up randomised testing at airports and other measures designed to limit and reduce travel in and out of the country. And that's work ongoing. And I think where we are now in the reopening of society during COVID is how we live with COVID-19 while at the same time having reasonable quality of life for people and reasonable sustainable economic activity. I think the CSO figures are interesting for May, June, which show that in June in particular there's been a dramatic increase in retail activity over and above the previous month. Is the highest in record. Now, the quarter isn't as comparable to last year yet, but it does show that that's the balance. As we reopen the economy, we can see some benefits from it, but we need to be clear that the fastest way to damage the economy again is to have a re-emergence of the virus in any significant form. So in terms of the all-island approach, there are challenges in getting a common standard. It's not as simple as saying it. And I think that's just the point. And I think that's been the story. But I think there's been much closer engagement between the two CMOs.